Welcome back to The Process. I'm your host, Dr. Masi Reynolds. And in my world, in the high performance sports medicine world, we always see the comeback. We always see the podiums and we always see the trophies. But what we don't always see is a deep dive into the trenches. We don't see the emotional, the physical tolls. We don't see what it took for that athlete or that patient to get back to prior form. And in this episode, we're talking to Shaun Lopez. Shaun is a Maui legend. He is a Maui-based renewable engineer, a big wave surfer, and a host of his own amazing podcast, the Buoy Report. And him and I met through injury and recovery. And he's going to, yes, tell his story about that, which I think of as a powerful story in and of itself. But this one's special too, because my wife, Dr. April Mancuso, is also on. And that connection is pretty special, meaning we go through our own infertility battle. And her and Shaun connected because they were fighting their own battle, Shaun and his wife. And he'll go into that a little bit. But it was really cool to listen to how he approached not only his injury recovery, but infertility. And it was very similar to how we did as well, is constantly asking more questions, seeking more answers, seeking other opportunities to help where we otherwise couldn't help. And this, you're going to hear all kinds of ways to navigate the health system and how we feel about it. You'll hear Shaun talk a lot about how he looks at, fatherhood, how he looks at himself as an athlete and as a professional and his interactions with his community, how he describes systems and energy and conversion. It's really, really cool. If you're lost in the medical field and you're questioning maybe some of the answers you're getting and you're seeking and looking for something different, whether it's the infertility or just medicine in general, this episode's for you. Without further ado, Shaun Lopez and Dr. April Mancuso Reynolds. Right on, man.
What
Shaun,
a jingle.
April. I know. Do you like that? This is so rad. So this is the first time, one, doing three people, and then two, having a collaboration podcast with the Buoy Report, Shaun Lopez, and then, of course, The Process with Dr. Masi. And we have a special guest who probably isn't going to be a guest, is more so of a co-host and a recurring character on this show is my wife, Dr. April Mancuso Reynolds. It's awesome to have you because I think what we're going to hear in this conversation and back and forth is the evolution of all of us as humans together, but the medical side of things, how our journey took a pretty wild turn from how we met in the injury and everything we'll get into, but also how that shifted into the infertility world and as it relates to April and the regenerative medicine and everything else like that.
It's been a wild journey.
It's been a wild journey, yeah. And so we've been trying to connect forever to either have you on my podcast or, when I'm on Maui to sit and talk with you because you have an epic thing going with the Buoy Report. And it just, I think, made sense for us to do it together. And then when you wanted to talk a little bit about the regenerative medicine, I thought it would be perfect to include April because full disclosure, she's kind of the goat when it comes to a lot of that stuff when it comes to infertility. And it's not so much.
You've been a guru to us.
Yeah.
So much that we'll share how big it went.
Yeah. No.
Well, when I get into something, I go deep.
Yeah. No. And it's actually quite awesome to see how just in general, regenerative medicine is all coming together on that same common theme that a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about too, yes, with frequency and energy, but the way that we look at it too is everything in medicine is, in addition to that, is at the cellular level, right? Every system, every specialty, orthopedics, physical medicine, rehab, cardiology, nephrology, everything requires cells to come together and behave in a certain way to get to that end result, healing, recovery, and even the processes that happen throughout our body. So there's this tidal wave of information and physicians that are all jumping on board with that right now. And it's really cool to see. I mean, we've seen it, of course, in our life. I've seen it in my specialty, but seeing more and more mainstream medicine recognizing the power of cellular medicine is really cool. And you've been obviously a fan, a supporter of that, and a patient in that world too as well. So I'd love to start with our origin story, and then we'll get to how we all kind of connected on the regenerative stuff.
I think we first really met.
Yeah.
I've known the Mancuso name and your name, but through it was Dylan's wedding, and I showed up the morning after because I had a passport issue, and everybody was really hungover when I rolled up. It was just great, and the waves were firing, and we hung out for that 2 weeks after, and then just stayed in touch, and we had that my little CBD project that we were working on with Pico Science, and how do we that was always just that was an alternative to opiates and pain management, and trying to get my wife at the time off her, what was it? Ibuprofen that she was always taking for her periods that were pretty crampy. And I was always using them for my injuries and traveling. It was just part of my kit. So I always wanted to find the best one. So came to you and, hey, are you interested in this? And shared it. And we just started communicating. And then I think what really hit home was COVID. And me and my wife, we were on our baby making journey, and the vaccines were coming out, and I'm trying not to get this demonetized by saying words like that.
Okay.
We have to use code words, but
let's not let anything go. Man.
okay. That was one of the first questions was, hey, we're trying to have a baby. Is this going to affect our path? And you're just like, nope, you guys are healthy, and there's a protocol in place if you do get sick.
Yeah.
Let's stick to that. Really what it came down to was, the answer we got was there's no data. And it was this breath of fresh air when you're just getting bombarded by everybody else.
Yeah.
And you gave me just these words of truth that we stuck by.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it. Let's pause on that actually and stay there, because that was some wild times for us. And I'm so grateful that, there's so many even homes that were divided on their stances when it came to that. And I was so just grateful because I thought, remember Mugatu off of Zoolander where he was like, am I taking crazy pills right now? Like, that's what it felt like. And
Masi literally was looking for some picture last night, and he was like, found this picture of somebody in the grocery store, like messed up with a kit gown and gloves at the grocery store that he must have taken.
Yeah.
He's like, remember these times?
Yeah, it was wild times. And I'm glad you brought that up, because when you brought it up earlier this morning, I completely forgot that was kind of how we originally started talking more and more, even before your injury. But we even went through moments where we were questioning what was going on, and whether or not we were right in our line of thinking, or at least that we were, I guess, processing things like the right way, because there was such a strong stance in the opposite direction. And I was pretty outspoken, and I think April was too. I think I was more outspoken than her on it. But my biggest thing, and I was telling you today, like my biggest thing was just like, why are we pretending to have the information when we don't, right? Like we understand what COVID is. I'm not saying that it was bad or was, what it was, but my biggest thing is that we were silencing some pretty powerful voices that, contradicted the current narrative at that time. And in our training in medicine and science, we're taught and we're empowered to question those types of things, right? And then when we go to question it in that moment, we're getting shot down, or we're getting silenced, or we're getting villainized for it. And obviously that brings a whole nother, sense of skepticism, once that starts to happen. But that was my biggest thing. And so we were getting blown up all the time with family, with people kind of reaching out. And we were very honest with like, okay, well, we don't know, but this is how we typically look at these sort of things. And if we think about, especially in, trying to get pregnant and, everything else like that, it just, to us, it didn't really make sense for the healthy and the young. And I don't know if you remember those times.
No, I mean, it's like, why are we going to just go out and do things without really looking into it, when that just doesn't really make sense. But it was a really, really hard time for everybody. And it was actually really cool. Like you saying, like, that's kind of how you really connected, is you really did kind of start to find like your tribe. And it actually, I mean, sadly, we have found that in the opposite way too, like, with people, because it got so, I don't know, there was
divisive.
Yeah.
I mean, there was such a professional gaslighting machine that made you feel crazy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Am I right? Question.
Yeah.
But like, I came back to like your answer when I asked that question was, there's no data.
Yeah.
And that always comes back to, I think, how I've always operated through system designs of what work, and being your own health advocate, having the right data to make a good decision. Are you just going to make a blind faith decision without the data, or let's analyze the facts and go from there?
And that's when I first realized that in you too, is that you're like me, you're a question asker, right? Like not in a conspiratorial sort of way, but more collect as much data and as much information to make an empowered decision, not just make a decision based on what someone's opinion is on something, right? So getting to the root cause of why do we feel the way that we do, and what data is that based on? So yeah, I love that about you.
Yep.
So
And then I guess, so fast forwarding the origin journey,
yeah,
one great eat shit at Jaws, tweaked a knee, and it was, Masi, I need some help on my knee.
yeah.
So
That was more than a tweaked knee. I'm gonna pause there. that was gnarly, and I mean, we should pull up the video at some point and take a look at that. But that was, yeah. Describe it more actually in detail, because you were towing, right?
Okay, I was
and then you
towing.
hit a warble,
yeah,
and what it looked like, at least from my perspective, is that you kind of aired, and then your knee kind of extended out, and so you landed in full extension on that lateral side, like your knee almost locked out, right?
I think I'm more compressed. It
Yeah.
landed, and it was, I imagine it as I jumped from something really high.
Okay.
And I hit my, I remember feeling my heels hit my board. The video looks worse than it is, but
And
actually,
wait, let's set the stage. This is Jaws.
Jaws,
right?
Eddie
Yeah,
Swell.
Eddie Swell, yeah.
2023.
Yeah. Okay.
I think. Yeah, it was a big one.
Yeah.
It was really, really big Jaws.
Yeah.
And as big as it gets, extra west. And we've been towing all day, and we took one. It's one of those days you just really, it was hard to see what the wave was going to, the period was so long, it was really hard to read what was going to do at the end of the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And this it was a big one, but it sucked white, and I ended up going through a reverb of the wave before. And I was going so fast, and I was trying to keep my edge, and my tail spun on backside, give your foot out there. And so when I was going so fast, it felt like I jumped off something really high, and my ass hit my heels.
Yeah.
And I pop out of the straps.
Compression.
It was a compression, and that's what finally, it was, what did you say? The plateau.
Lateral plateau fascial fracture.
Lateral plateau fracture of the tibia. Cracked off some bone spurs, and then ripped the rest of that meniscus off. And luckily, all the ligaments were still intact.
The ligaments were good. And that was the key to, and we'll talk about pre-existing, pathology and and balance and homeostasis and all the things that we need to kind of keep moving through this planet pain-free. But in an injury like that, right, the goal is to not necessarily focus on what was there, but what is and what's the new, right? Because a lot of times, especially in higher level athletes, there's acute on chronic, and not getting too caught up in the other things, because you could go down rabbit holes and treat and overtreat and treat things that don't necessarily be treated. And we talked about the ACL, we talked about a bunch of other things, at that time. But yeah, what had happened is you flex down, and then the femur cracked, through or pushed through that back, and you created a vertical fracture to that posterior lateral tibia plateau, and then your meniscus flipped over. And I think that was actually beyond the pain and the discomfort of that original injury. Over the course of the days, it was actually the meniscus that kind of locked in the center of the knee.
Yep.
That prevented you from getting that full extension.
And that was the miracle that was blocking the ACL during the MRI.
Yeah, exactly.
And we thought, we're like, it might be an ACL.
I know.
And then
I was ready for war. I was ready for war. So anyways, so that ended up, bringing you out to Silicon Valley, and grateful that you trusted us with that. And obviously it's been nothing but like a freaking wild man since, just charging and doing well and getting better all the time.
So I had the thought, though, when I was driving down here. So if I didn't eat shit on that wave,
yeah,
we wouldn't have been in that clinic the next day, post-surgery, on 2 days after, in your office, and we're talking about our fertility journey. And you go, you need to talk to him.
Yeah, no, he's asking all these questions, and I'm a true believer in staying in my lane, and I understand that ours do blend. But and I have a general understanding just based on watching April and going through the journey with her and our own infertility journey, and the secrets and the pearls that she's been able to share with our community as well. So I've been kind of a passive observer to that, and can relay a lot of what she's saying and help in certain ways. But obviously, when our tribe and relationships and couples like you that are really going through it, and you're asking me these questions, like, let's get on a call. And I remember we were walking on Westcliff. You probably don't remember. When we got on that call together to be able to unpack kind of your journey, and that was when we introduced April, when you started talking about that.
Let's rewind just before we get to that. So just to finish my surgery, was that we did the PRP and the stem cells. So it was already cutting edge, and stem cells were in the conversation, very top of mind.
Yeah. Gotcha. Was that, well, I guess since we're there, was that your first introduction to cellular medicine?
Yes.
It was. Okay. And you were like, whatever, doc.
Yeah, I trust you. And then I've always been an advocate too. It's like, health is not something you skimp on money.
Yeah.
I was like, let's get over here. I'll do it.
Well,
there's room on the credit card. Let's rock and roll.
For me, it's like, okay, well, we understand we're going to go in there, and we understand we got to get this bone to heal. We understand that we're going to take care of this meniscus. But you did have some pre-existing, lateral compartment disease on the outside of the knee. And it's like, okay, well, if we're taking this time to go in there, how do we leave that environment better than we came in, right? Which isn't always the case, but how can we put yourself and set yourself up for success in a regenerative way to be able to be more self-serving and to be turning over cells a lot better and a lot quicker in the recovery. And so that's the whole idea behind that, specifically for you, is recognizing, okay, there's something that you've been able to live with for a while, but this thing may come up and get you. And yes, we're treating the cell or the meniscus and everything at the same time, but how do we improve that lateral compartment as well? So yeah, I was stoked that you were all in on that too, and stoked that you're also seeing the results of that too.
Yeah, and I mean, and then having the team on the other side, the prehab to the prehab to rehab.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
We'll go through that. So yeah, so it was an easy transition when I was like, well, this is what we did, and then that's when enter April, right? That conversation as well.
So tell us a little bit about
Well,
that.
once we were talking about fertility and we had been talking about our journey, we had obviously gone through so much of it. And it was really an interesting part of our journey is that for so long, we kind of like went down this like, I don't know, I guess you want to kind of say like traditional Western medicine journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really weird because I had been doing regenerative medicine for joints for a long time. I mean, maybe not necessarily stem cells for a really long time, but PRP, we had been doing PRP for so long and super believe in it and saw amazing results. And, all the other like alternative things. And so I don't know why, for some reason, I guess it's maybe the way that we're kind of all like, well, not maybe everybody, but just like in the States, like especially in the fertility world, it's like, it's such a scary thing because it's like I can't really explain something you want more when you want a kid and you can't get it. And you feel like your body should be able to make you one, And so when you're going down that route, you're just like, all these people are experts. I'm going to listen to them. And when you find that that's not working, because that's what ended up happening to us, went down the IVF journey, went down all these other journeys and it wasn't working. And then I started, like something clicked one day and I was like, wait a minute, we got to start looking at all these other things that could possibly work. Why are they working in all these other parts of our body and it can't work for the fertility world?
I'm sorry to interrupt. The working diagnosis at that time from the traditional medical community was that she had premature ovarian failure and that pretty much her ovaries were old, right?
Yeah, I mean, and also I also didn't really get a diagnosis. I mean, that was like one of the diagnoses, but it wasn't really like something like that should prevent you from having a baby. And then I was just like, it's unexplained infertility. And I'm like, how do we not know? Like, you can't just not know. And for me, and that's when I really started diving into all these other things. And
Wait, how was it as like one doctor telling you these explanations that weren't making sense? Because we'll dive into it after because like some of the gaslighting that we got, which is a big subject we want to talk about, is just being your own health advocate. From COVID to my knee to the Kaiser system, basically the Kaiser system telling me their diagnosis, I needed a knee replacement.
Oh, wow.
That's what he told me. He didn't want to give me a surgery. And then I had to call Moss. He's like, no, get over here. We got you. And then the Kaiser system telling us we need an egg donor. That's it.
I mean, I will say in the defense of the fertility world that they don't know. So sometimes, well, most times when they're telling you this, like, and we were told the same thing, that we needed an egg donor. We were told that from multiple different fertility clinics. They don't necessarily know that there are these other options. And even if I tell people in the fertility world, you need to get PRP in your ovaries, or you need to do stem cell, they're just like, what? No, what are you talking about? But they are starting to come around. Really funny story, I'll segue, but one of our fertility doctors became one of Masi's patients. And he wasn't somebody that ended up helping us get pregnant. But we did see him. And when he came, he like put the 2 and 2 together and he was like, so what ended up happening? Like, what was it? And he was like, well, we did a couple things. One of them was PRP in the ovaries. He's like, what? And long story short, now he's doing it. So it's like, they don't know. And then they start doing the research or start realizing. And now they're like, wait, what am I missing? How have I not missed this? So that's why I feel like with the unexplained infertility thing, it's like people will tell you that and like double down on that diagnosis instead of being like, I actually just don't know. Like and
I think that's like systemic throughout the entire medical system. It even goes back to what you said earlier about COVID. Is just like no one feels comfortable saying I don't know. Wait, which is crazy to me, which is wild. Like we shouldn't know. We don't like I was listening to your podcast with Mark too. It's like we probably only know a sliver of the information that's out there. So to pretend like we have it all figured out, especially in the infertility world, and not being able to ask those questions outside of traditional, thought patterns is just, I don't know, it's wild to me.
And it would actually help people when you like, oh, I actually don't really know, because then they can go kind of research themselves. But then when somebody says to you like, oh, it's just unexplained infertility and you just have to do IVF or you just have to get an egg donor, I'm sorry. It's just like, how do you then for most people, if they're not an advocate for themselves and don't go deep diving into all these things like I ended up doing, they'll be like, oh, I guess I just can't get pregnant, so this is what I have to do, instead of like somebody saying, but I don't know. It's hard because I get it.
I get it. I mean, let's go back to the Kaiser doctor for my knee in Maui. He was so overworked.
Yeah.
When I told him I was going, he's like, cool, I can clear your file. I mean, there was no question about diet in any one of those.
Yeah.
From COVID.
Yeah.
I get not much diet, and I was already doing the bone broth for my knee as much as possible for my knee, for the cartilage, but there was none of it in the fertility journey.
Well, I mean, the diet stuff, I mean, okay, we're talking PRP stem cell. This is like this other side.
So let's
the diet thing drives me crazy. This is like for anything, right?
Anything across it. Like
I've had so many people come to me for fertility. I don't even necessarily see people for fertility, but I'm happy to always have that conversation. And they're like, oh, I saw 5 doctors. They said it doesn't matter what I eat. And I'm like,
okay, so let's unpack it then. Yeah. So we're going to go down our little fertility journey with So we basically said it was diet, a little bit of science with the stem cells and PRP, and some woo. A little bit of woo, prayer and woo.
Yeah,
because we were in Costa Rica and we had this fertility shaman with these amazing people, and it was just this tribe of women.
Yeah,
that Rachel had a release, and there was prayer and song, and it was the most beautiful thing.
That's amazing.
It was 100 days of that diet, that book he turned us on to. And then it was 3 nights over New Year's of prayer and this thing. And then we came in on the 2nd and got the drip with Moana in the lap. It was just the most beautiful. Obviously, the spirit was just hanging around there. Yeah. And then she was pregnant by a week later. But the diet was we just had to clean up. Like, we were already eating pretty clean.
Yeah, go into the details of that and what you changed. And the book too, I want to, so our listeners can at least get a glimpse of
the egg quality diet by Dr.
I'll have to look that up. But it's the egg quality.
No, we got to give her a shot. She's so amazing. Her Instagram.
We'll find it. Don't find it. Yeah.
The A quality diet.
Egg
Quality diet.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I've said this to so many people, like, you've got to get on the egg quality diet. And actually, even people that are not dealing with fertility but dealing with anything,
it's really how you're supposed to be eating.
It is.
Yes, her.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Amy Rapp.
God bless Amy Rapp. Her Instagram's so good because it's all the power. You have the healing. It's just all this positive affirmation. But
what's her Instagram, Dylan? You pull it up.
And it's so amazing because she's constantly showing people I was 42 and I was told I can't have a baby and I did her diet and look at me now. Yeah.
So we asked April. She sent us a 5-page text. It was a Google sheet. Yeah, exactly. And I just got this text and we bought every book.
Here's the formula.
But the egg quality.
That was before ChatGPT. Could you imagine how much easier my life would have been?
So I bought the book, and I love to cook and I love to hunt. So we had the bones.
Well, you're already doing a lot.
So
of
we're already eating pretty clean. It was just a couple fine tunes. And I guess the diet it's 100 days strict, and it's 3 meals a day with the snacks laid out, and then it's 1 part elimination, 1 part cleanse, and it's 1 part setting intention into the food, I think, as well. Prayer, and we've stuck with that. We've, as a family, we've always pray around our food and bless the food, and just so thankful for it. But it's no sugar, no wheat, high quality proteins, high quality fats, and then a real strong emphasis on bone broths. Look, and now in her book, there was a bunch of chicken feet to fish soup to any kind of bones you can get. Luckily for me, we have a lot of access to here, and I love to hunt, so I just had freezers full of bones. So I was Instapotting these ones, and I'll tell you that after, Reese loves to eat bone broth still. If she's not eating, we get the meat jello out of the mason jar, and she eats it up.
Just dip it in everything. Yeah.
She just eats it like jello, just a spoonful of it. Oh, I swear, once we started getting it in the food, her hair just exploded. Just.
That's crazy. We need to get.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
So much so that we started, like, we had the IVF. It didn't work. We did a reset. We talked to you guys. That was right when I had my surgery. And I was like, okay, I'm all in. I'll cook. I love to cook already. So I was pretty much doing the food prep for Rachel and making all the bone broths. And so much so at the end of the 100 days, her numbers like quadrupled positively. So much so that when we were actually going back into the fertility clinic, one of the nurses was like, why are you here? And we like, what?
They do chicken skin.
Yeah. Like just diet alone changed your numbers so positively. And it wasn't even, we were already eating healthy, but it was just this, we followed the, set the intention and just kind of cleaned up, got rid of the sugars.
I think that's actually a really common thing that people say. They'll be like, but I already eat so healthy. And that's how we felt too. We were like, we already eat so healthy. It's crazy how like such a sometimes small change makes such a big difference. And also to see like how much and how well it did just for the fertility, like how it can do with anything. We talk about it all the time. We're like, we got to get back on the egg quality diet.
Yeah.
I was feeling really in good. I was feeling really in shape just eating with her. Like.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so book the infertility and then, the spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit about that before we come back for the stem cell? Because that picture with Rachel and Moana is like one of my.
So then we went to
pictures of all time.
Costa Rica with a good friend group of ours, and one of the wives organized like it was like there was a bunch of other moms. There was an expecting mother, and there was a couple other babies, and so all the women and the wives and the babies, they had like a shaman, a South American shaman, not in the ayahuasca thing, but more of just like a. I don't even know the word you'd use, but just kind of a guidance that they're leading song and prayer with the women every night and singing and there was they'd had one big ceremony where there was a blessing for this.
Was this coincidence? Or you planned that out? With
actually one of the, my friend's wife kind of organized it, knew in the journey we were on.
Okay.
And she's like, hey, we want to bring this lady in on the trip with us. Are you guys okay with it? I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah. I'll kill her.
And so it was a blessing that they did this. Like I will forever, as much as we're forever grateful for you, we are forever grateful to them and what they've done, and they'll always be part of that journey. And so we're in Costa Rica, and they had this ceremony. It was just this beautiful, just the women together. It was like that's the woo part, but it was also the old village mentality of all the women together and the kids and babies and singing and just prayer and just. I think Rachel had a big release too on one of the ceremonies and just felt very sacred and safe. And I think the stress too of the whole 4 years leading up to this point.
Yeah.
And so we flew back and we'd already organized it that we were going to come down, and then we were in your clinic. And
I hadn't gone back to work yet. Well, I haven't actually really yet either. And so Moana came with me. She was only 3 months old, right?
Yeah. She doesn't have any hair, that little picture I just sent you. And so I think that's in that picture, that was the IV. If she's getting the IV drip of the stem cell IVs. Yeah. And we put Moana in her lap, and they just had this moment of love.
And she just sat with her. It was so cute during the whole IV.
The picture is so powerful because there's this surrender that you see in it, right? Like I'm sure that there's a little skepticism, but there's just like, I'm here. And I'm on the journey. I don't know what I'm doing. And like at a cellular level, I'm not sure what's happening, but I trust and I'm going to surrender to this process. And part of that was coming right off of that epic trip that you guys were on too. But I remember being there and feeling that energy and her being like, okay, we're doing it. We're all in on it.
Yeah. I'm there to support it.
And kind of to rewind, just for people that are curious. So that was about 2 weeks after her cycle that we did that stem cell IV. And that was after the 100-day diet, and that was exactly what we did too. I had also done PRP in my ovaries, and I had also had a surgery for endometriosis. So I had, and we also went to Mexico. We also did like a couple other things.
We'll talk about that at some point.
Some point. But as far as like the 100-day diet, and then having my cycle, did my stem cell IV, and then got pregnant with Moana. And so it's like, I mean, you can call it coincidence, but I don't think so.
Oh, no, it was also there. We did the ozone.
Oh, yeah, we did ozone.
Did like a dozen, 10 passes or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you did a 10 pass. Right
and you said, it helps as the carrier molecule for the
stem cells,
Right, you guys.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Are you still recommending that? Just curious.
To get the ozone first?
The 10 pass, before doing
it doesn't have to be a 10 pass, but I do think that like a 1 to 3 pass just to get that ozone in before the stem cell IV is great. Yeah. Helps it for sure. Oh,
And
So 9 months
exciting.
later, Reese Apelila Lopez was
Reese
born.
Apelila.
So we named her in honor of April.
That's
In,
so.
in Hawaiian, Apelila is April in
Yeah.
Hawaiian.
Yeah, my mom is Samoan, South Pacific Islander, and so when I started dating April, she's like, "Oh, Aperila."
She still calls me that.
Yeah,
no way.
exactly. Yeah. No, it's so awesome, and she's the most beautiful thing ever, man. Congratulations.
So
And
cute.
I
She
just
did kick her ass last night.
when you flew, like, when did you guys get in yesterday?
We took the 8 o'clock flight
Yeah.
out of Maui. So
Yeah.
up at 4:30 on Maui time, and
Yeah.
we traveled all day. And then we were in our friend's house trying to sleep,
Yeah.
and she just was.
I was telling Shaun that 2+ years in, Moana's still kicking her ass at night. So
They're supposed to come down, and Rachel's like, "I'm just going to cruise. We're going to have some naps today."
Yeah.
It's like, no
Yeah.
problem.
yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy for you. And I've seen a huge shift, obviously, in you. And you talk a lot about conversion and energy conversion. And we'll go through. You have an epic line of things that we want to talk about too. But I've seen it with you, man. Just one, you already had that kind of before before the injury, after the injury, but even more so, like as a father, and an intentional father, and the way that you move around and communicate and behave in your actions is just, it's been incredible to see.
Thank you.
Yeah. A year old now, right? Or
Yes.
just over a year. So
14 months.
14 months. So yeah. So
it's
stoked for you
really
guys.
starting to get fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she literally just walked probably in the last 2-3 weeks, and now she's just this wild little spider
Oh, my
monkey.
God.
She's strong.
So
She has a
fun.
spirit.
It's so rewarding. I mean, regenerative medicine in general, when you're able to make change at that level, and again, not to do it just to be outside of the medical system, do different things like that, but recognizing that there are limitations, and they are trying, like April was saying, like they really do have the best intentions for the most part, but are only trained within certain guardrails to allow them to think in a certain way. And I fight that even myself with the training that I go through. But how cool is it to be able to move beyond that and
It's
find
amazing.
different ways,
This-
and we always want to try to put science to the woo and, and all that stuff. But, as I think better than anyone, it's all energy, it's all
Yes.
frequency, and it's all homeostasis and balance. And that's really what we are as humans, right? We're just a collection of cells
Wow,
and
I
we're
just got
energetic
chickens.
beings. Yeah.
Like, think about that picture, though.
Yeah.
Is that being, that spirit,
Yeah.
a little energy spirit that's just already out there existing, and she was just hovering
Mm-hmm.
around? It's like she was pregnant 4 days, all natural. I mean,
Yeah.
all natural,
Yeah.
considering with a
Yeah.
little bit of science, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 days later.
Yeah.
Well,
You want to tell our story with our hypnotherapist? I mean, she knew way before we knew.
oh yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we saw a couple people, but we also saw a medium that told us that we were going to have a baby.
A girl.
And she said a girl too. And she
Mhm.
said it doesn't necessarily have to be a girl, it could just be girl energy, but she was very specific about, this was actually when we weren't living in Santa Cruz yet. She was like, "Well, you guys need to move first before the baby will come." We're like, "Okay, well, we were planning to move to Santa Cruz." I don't know. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And back to like the cellular medicine and kind of all that journey, I feel like, even, and I think that this was a discussion we talked about, like with the stem cell. It's like, well, I can't tell you that it's guaranteed. And actually, you can't say that with anything in medicine, actually. But I can tell you that it's going to help a lot of other things too. So what if we just did it for like all these other benefits? And if she gets pregnant, like amazing, And that's what I did even when I did the PRP for my ovaries. When I actually went down to Dr. Wood in San Diego, who's amazing, actually. He's very good at doing the procedure. But the whole clinic was like, "Okay, so when's your planned IVF?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing IVF." And they're like, "What? Nobody ever comes and gets PRP in your ovaries and then doesn't go do IVF." And I was like, "Well, I'm going to try naturally." Because at that point I had done all that IVF. It didn't work. I didn't want to inject all that stuff into my body anymore. And they were like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what if you don't like end up getting pregnant?" I was like, "Well, how is the PRP not good for my ovaries anyway?" Like, I know it seems like kind of a lot of money to spend on something that you may or may not work for pregnancy, but I'm like, this is going to only help my ovaries. So why can't we look at it like that too? Why does it have to have like, I mean, I understand when it comes to costs and stuff that we don't want to just be like throwing out money, and all of the fertility stuff is so expensive. But I was like, I just want to like get the procedure, I know it works, and bless it, and not put so much pressure on it, it has to be like this end result. And I think that's what we were talking about too. Like, let's just go get the stem cells. It helps decrease inflammation. It helps with anti-aging, all these other things. Like,
So, as that, clarify for me, just so I understand that, you do an IV stem cell, and that's just completely systemic. And it just goes to where it needs to go, which is going into your.
Yeah, actually, Masi was talking about, he had read a study actually talk about it where the stem cells actually
Yeah.
know where to go.
So
And
they
you're
did,
sending the intention probably as well, right?
That
I mean, that's
sounds
why kind of we had the baby,
Yeah.
Moana.
yeah, and I think that's the woo part of it that we really, at least for me, need people to be on board with. And not to say that they need to manufacture belief in it, but more so a big part of what we do and what I love to do is educate in a way that empowers, like you said, to empower the patient or the person to be able to put their body to work. And part of that for me is educating, get as much information about what I know at a cellular level that's happening. And in that, right, yes, there are constantly signals going out through our body. Our body at a cellular level is constantly sending out growth factors, sending out signals, what I call the SOS, right? And it's not so much that our body can't come in and repair and bring cells to the areas that we just unfortunately lose the capacity to do it at the same volume, right? As we could before, which is why, to oversimplify it, a 4-year-old can grow by the tip of his finger, a 15-year-old can roll his ankle and he's back in a couple of days, whereas that happens to any of us. It's like, okay, we're out for, a little bit. And it's not so much that we can't heal, it's just those processes slow down a little bit, right? Whether it's through blood supply, or whether it's just cell availability to mobilize the cells and get them to that area and respond to that signal. But also as we get older, that signal starts to dampen a little bit. So it's still going off, but it's just dampening, right? We call it the paracrine system, the communication system that's going on throughout our entire body, trying to prioritize the things that, yes, keep us alive. And then if there's any extra, yeah, we're going to heal your elbow and your knee and your ovary and whatever, right? And there was a study where they did radioisotope tracers. So they actually traced these stem cells that were given IV, and they were able to look through a nuke med scan and actually see that they aggregated, consolidated in areas of highest needs, whether it was a cardiac patient or whether a patient's dealing with the local trauma in an area. I can't remember the specifics of like what, the cohort of patients that were seen, but they saw that these stem cells would aggregate in areas of highest needs. And so our body knows what it wants to do with those cells. It doesn't always have the ability to distribute in the same way. So does that answer your question?
Yes. The intuitive of your body,
Yeah.
like there's.
Yeah, the intuition. Yeah, it's communications, it's connections, it's electric, right? We're vibration. We're constantly responding, and I always say we're a bag of cells. But beyond that, those cells are, as you know, and you talked about, and what you have a powerful understanding of, is just we're atoms. We're circulating. We're matter, right?
Mhm.
We're
electric
we're
current.
electric current all the time, right? And so that can easily get disrupted, right? Whether it's through diet, whether it's nowadays more so environment, right?
Mhm.
Environmental changes, there's genetic components to it as all. So we're this homeostasis. And I like to say we're a bag of cells and a homeostasis of life and death. We're constantly dying off. Cells are coming out. Our hair's growing out and dying off. Our skin's growing out, dying off. Our nails are growing out. The same things happen to our kidneys, lung, livers, ovaries. The same things happening in our joints too at the same time. And when we're faced with pathology, right, whether it be arthritis or whether it be premature ovarian failure or whether it be a rotator cuff tear, yeah, there are physical traumatic components to that. But what it is it's an imbalance where we're breaking down faster than we're actually building up. And then our body, like I said, it's very fortuitous. It's very efficient in a way that it's not going to focus on those types of things. It's going to focus on what keeps us alive. And when it recognizes it can't necessarily keep up with that breakdown process for whatever reason we're out of balance, it's going to sequester it off. It's going to block it off and say, well, the hell with this. I'm done with it, right? And that's why we end up healing to 60%. That's why we get stuck in premature ovarian failure. That's why we have chronic pain and pathology. And then all of a sudden our mind starts spinning. And you add that component to it, which throws us off even more, right? And now we're all over the place. We're so disconnected. We're not grounded. We're not in alignment, right? And that's when we go to seek x-rays and MRIs and take pills and do all this stuff.
And then you're told like that can never change. That to me killed me the most.
Yeah.
When it's like, this is how the health of your ovaries, like when they look at those numbers, the FSH and they're like, and that can't change.
That broke my heart. Like
Yeah.
That's what they told you,
it
huh?
really truly broke my heart.
that
Feeling
was-
for my wife. Like
The
Yeah.
first time that they
was-
told me that I got those numbers and they told me that, I cried through the night.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this
I
is
remember that.
how my eggs and my ovaries are, and I can't get them better no matter what. And then when I found out that was a lie, I was like, well, it took like,
well, I remember that you told me, and you were like, man, you're like,
was
no,
mad.
you are young and healthy. How old are you? 31?
Yeah.
No.
I was like, that is a
32.
lie. Those numbers are not permanent. They don't
love it.
only go down, or you know what I mean? I was like, I can't, that to me is the craziest thing in the fertility world, that they lead all these women to believe that they cannot change the health of their ovaries.
That's
And
scary.
It is scary.
But doctor told me I needed a knee replacement. I'm box jumping and surfing jaws again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. And charging. God, one of the best athletes in the world. You're a living proof, brother. Like I reference you all the time. And not to say that you should be sitting around waiting for something to go wrong with your knee. What I'm saying, if you're imbalanced, like I just described, which you are, I mean, and we'll talk about your training regimen and all that other stuff like that. It's like, yeah, fuck that. Like, no way.
No way.
Yeah. And not
Until the wheels fall off one day.
But that'll always be there, and that's my argument.
You're just trying to keep the rust away, right? That's like gotta keep the salt off the rust.
Yeah, and a lot of people use this term, and it's not mine, but the body armor for the joint, beyond the cellular aspect of what's happening in the energy and the frequencies and the homeostasis that we all talked about, is strength, which is part of the whole thing. And I used to think they were separate. Right? I used to separate the strength pillar, the structural, the anatomic, from the cellular and the energetic. I used to think they were all separate things, and I used to talk about those 3 pillars that we have to fulfill to be healthy, live with pathology, get pregnant, all these things, but they're all interrelated. It's a Venn diagram. They're all connected, and your physical can influence your cellular can influence your energetic, spiritual, and your spiritual can influence your structural.
I think the energy channel is the one that really flows all those together.
Yeah.
Sending the vibration one to the next.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No. And so, you're living proof of that.
Thank you. I'm trying. I'm just trying to be me.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to know, what's it like surfing big waves now that you have a kid? Is it different mentally?
It's different.
Yeah.
Oh, see, these are the awesome questions that I would never ask.
No, but I'm serious. I mean, it's got to be, right?
100%. Super fun. I saw me the gym the other day. Brett Lickle's daughter is pregnant right now with Kelson Lau, Skylar Lickle. And she came up and she's like, how do you do it? Kelson's she basically asked that same question because they're about to have their first child. And I was like, I've always been super calculated in general. And like, I've never been the cowboy, and I'm not trying to surf like Billy. Okay. Like
you fool me, man.
No, I'm super calculated. And I'm going out there to do it for my reasons and ride the waves I want to ride. And like, when I'm out there, I'm looking for a certain ride and to get home safe.
You mentioned that today. Your Jaws is your local break.
It's my local break. It's not my job. It's not, it's just my own. I always just compare it to like you guys growing up in Tahoe and Jackson. You'd be going off the top of the mountain just because you know how, and this is what you've grown up doing. And I'm super calculated on those big days. But like last year, we had a huge day during the eddy swell, and I rode a handful of huge ones. And it was a very dangerous day. It was really bumpy. It was just very not user friendly as far as big waves go. And I ended up going down on one, and I came up and I wasn't fine. I was fine, no injuries, knock on wood. And I think the old me would have just taken that energy right then when the adrenaline surging. I would have done the inventory and go, I'm okay. I got to get back on the horse right now. And then I just started. I spent that morning because the swell actually rose in the afternoon and peaked at like 4:30 in the morning. I had a morning every morning I walk with Reese at sunrise. I change the diaper and we go. Since she's been born, we go walk out and walk our field and get sunshine in the eyes. And that's like how I've been waking her up since day one.
That's amazing.
We say good morning to the sunshine and go scare the deer in the little gulch. But I was talking to her, but I definitely, she was on my mind that day. And I was like, I already rode I don't need to roll the dice. I'm going to cash my chips. I'm good. I was done for the day. It was cool. And I was more than happy with it. And I was able to walk away with it safe. And Rachel always says it. She's like, I trust your crew, your safety crew. And I'm just very calculated when I surf out there. I'm just trying to surf it to my ability. And like the goal was always to get some of the biggest waves, but I'm backside. There's just different lines that I'm trying to ride and just survive it. It's not my job. I've never made a paycheck out of surfing.
Yeah. Well, it changes your chemistry for sure. I mean, I'm sure it happens for a male standpoint too, but they literally can see part of the baby's, DNA in the mom's brain, and the mom, like it's all like one, because for a reason, right? Like,
and it drops your testosterone, right? Having a child in the beginning, trying to keep the dad bod away.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's just lack of sleep.
That's where I can come in and help.
There's a lot of reasons for that. Probably.
Yeah.
But
No sleep.
I think it's the no sleep more than
Yeah.
anything that drops the.
Oh my gosh. Like
It's like
I
we're
know.
looking for all these answers for all these things right now, and we're like, well, actually, we don't
Yeah.
sleep at night, so
Yeah.
maybe we should start there.
I know, exactly. Those are like
The real simple.
yeah, that's what in order to live an optimized life, like Jesse's house was on here earlier. He's talking about the boulders, right? Before you put in the pebbles of like optimizing with NAD and BPC 157 and stem cell and stuff like that, you gotta put those boulders in, which is first one I think is sleep and
Sleep through the night.
through the night. So I'm sitting here looking for ways to optimize it, and meanwhile I'm getting woken up like 6 times a night, and I'm just like 2 years into this baby. I'm like, yeah. So we're
I'm right behind you.
we're in it. Yeah, but it's also one of these things.
I'm here
that's-
for it. I signed up
Yeah,
for it. I
that's
want
right.
it.
Yeah.
I wanted this experience,
Oh, I
and it's
love
like
that.
not.
Yeah.
Like my wife found a meme that was really good. She's not having a hard. You're not having a hard time, or she's not giving you a hard time. She's just having a hard time. Just
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
She's just figuring it out, and
It's
we're
not
part of the
good.
journey. And I signed up for it. I wanted it, and
Oh, what
Whatever.
a great
like
reframe.
I was telling you the story. We're kind of giggling about it. It's last night. We're having trouble getting
Oh,
her
this
down.
is
It was
good.
like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and so my job, like if I know she's fed and she's off the boob already, she's well fed. I put her down, try to get her back to sleep. And she was just getting up. I finally had her asleep last night on my chest. We were like sitting in the chair, and I was like, do I put her back in the pack and play? I'm going to go try to just lay in bed with her on my chest. And Rachel's asleep next to me. And I kind of whispered to Rachel, I'm like, hey, she's with us. She's sleeping right here on my chest. And Rachel's like very blind without her glasses. And I whispered, I probably mumbled it. She's like, what did you say? I came after, and Reese just like popped up. I was like, oh, she's like, I'm sorry, don't be mad. I'm like, I'm not mad. I'm just laughing now. It's like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do? You
That's
just
so
gotta be,
funny.
you just be deliriously tired and
It's
laughing.
so-
Like,
Oh my God. I love to tell all our stories from internship and it's like they're so fragile at that point. Once you get them to sleep, it's just like, okay.
I
And then
had her.
like-
She was like sleeping nice and
Yeah.
quiet, and just let out the big sigh, and she was on my.
Yeah.
Well, it's so crazy. Like babies, they're all so different how they sleep. You know, like you think that you're doing something wrong, and then you're like, actually, it's just the kid. And now that we have 3, we can totally tell that. But Jet was our first. You know, that he did not sleep at all. And Masi and I used to do Q4 shifts at the hospital. You know, because we were interns. And Jet wouldn't sleep very well. So Masi would come home. He would do like a 30-hour shift. He'd come home in the morning. We'd literally pass each other's pagers. It was like crazy. And he would come back, and then he'd be with Jet, and Jet wouldn't sleep, and he'd be so tired he hadn't slept all night. So he'd just put the baby Bjorn on and walk around the house, and then he would lean up against the wall and
I would sleep standing up.
Because that's the only way he could get Jet to sleep.
It was so gnarly.
We look back
Okay.
at that time, we're like, what
Yeah.
were we doing?
And our
We're
version,
figuring it
we're
out.
figuring it out. And our version of that last night is now it's just, I mean, it's what drives, I think, April and I crazy the most is like we'll get Moana to sleep, and all of a sudden our 14-year-old Jet will come in. Hey, can I get more screen time? Like open the door, and Moana wakes up and screaming. We're like, oh no, my God.
We're living a crazy dynamic
Just got her
right
to
now.
sleep. So we're in it. We love it. And what you just said is we asked for this. We're grateful. And it doesn't mean that it's not hard, right?
No.
It doesn't mean that you can't like console with your partner and be like, we're in it right now. But at the same time, what keeps bringing us back is like, we're grateful for that journey. You know, we didn't know it going in. We had no idea. And it was hard to, and I think the same thing with injury. And I talk to patients a lot about this as well. Because it all is true, is that when you're in it, if you could at least just understand that there's a reason, you know, that you're in it. It doesn't mean you can't feel. It doesn't mean you can't talk about it. But if you can somehow understand that at the end of all of it, there's going to be a gift. There will be something there, you know, whether it's a physical or whether it's something that you feel or something you learn or a part of you that you unlock, right? At the end, there is a gift. And we keep going back to that all the time, you know, as tough as things can be in this moment. And I know you're in it right now too, as well. It's like, this is a miracle. This is a blessing. This is amazing. So,
Well, I think even like, you know, just even one of the blessings that we were talking about today, you know, sometimes we feel like maybe not the healthiest, and we're like, what are we eating? What is our diet? And we're like, well, if it worked so well to get pregnant, let's go back to that, because that is such a simple starting point for like all health. Well, sleep, diet, you know, those things. And just getting back to that egg quality diet. Literally, I'm like, oh, this is what's going on with you. You need to do egg quality diet. No, I don't
That's
want to
the
get
answer to
pregnant.
everything.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just go get this book, because it will literally draw it out for you. And that is a really good, you need to have your foundation. That's part of your foundation.
That, coming back to foundations, I think like old diet was the bone broth soup stocks. The
Yeah.
old stew pot that everything went in that never got scrubbed.
Yeah.
That you just keep adding vegetables and
Right.
bones and
Yeah. The ancestral diet. I'm a huge believer.
I swear, we call it our little multivitamin meal. Like
Mm.
when I was coming back, when she eats the Jello, I put it in my coffee still. And I was sharing that before when I hurt my knee, I was
Yeah.
already
Wait,
putting
you put
I put
gelatin
the bone
in
broth Jello in
Oh.
my coffee with a scoop of coconut oil. That's my little bone broth
We should
bullet.
try that.
That sounds amazing.
Is it good?
It's good. You can't taste it because it's so. So when I make the bone broth, I don't put any garlic or any vegetables.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's
Yeah,
just pure
pure
deer bones and all the
You
basically.
blend it?
Yeah, I put a little frother into it.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Show you a little
Try
video.
that.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm in.
A little
Let's do
super
it.
bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the Super Bowl.
I was
Yeah.
telling the Maui events that's a little $20 coffee cup you can be selling in paella.
Yeah.
I mean, no joke.
You're onto something right there. Yeah.
It's
Gotta
all
edit that
it's all
out.
separating.
Exactly.
It's all separating. You're like, don't worry, don't look at it. Just put a lid on it.
Yeah.
No, it's good. So I just put it in the bone broth Instapot. You cut the things and make sure you have the joints. Make sure you get the marrow. So you cut them up in like little 2-inch chunks. And I always get actually one big cow knuckle as well. So you
Mhm.
get the really good gelatin. Like I made this last batch with it literally had a snap to the gelatin. It wasn't like a soft gelatin. It was like
Mm.
really dense.
Mhm.
Wow.
And then we strain it so there's none of the
Yeah.
funk. And then I put it in the fridge and
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Let's come over. We'll head
up.
up to Kula for coffee next time we're over there on Maui.
I've been trying to get you up there.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what it's like when I'm there, man. I love it, obviously.
We had a
and-
wedding
and
last
so-
time. And 20
no,
people.
I mean, we
coordinate.
even talk about it all the time. We love, obviously, I mean, the islands in general. And I think my roots and ancestry comes from there. And it's just, I feel at home when I'm on the island. But as it relates to Maui specifically, we don't have a lot of time for ourselves when we're there.
No, it's a lot.
So-
Family and everything.
Yeah.
So,
So-
yeah.
Let's keep it on track.
Yeah.
I want a question for you though.
Yeah, no,
What is energy to you? Like as a doctor, as a father, as a Polynesian and Mana, learning and sharing it. Like there's a lot of different paths. Like energy is even just teaching your child what we're talking about. Like so, give me your high level and then like an acute low level one.
Yeah, I think for me, it's how I show up in interactions, not only with my partner, my wife, my kids, and also with my patients. Is that I know when I'm aligned, when I'm connected and grounded, I can give and be available to receive energy back and forth in a way that I can truly understand who that person and human is and what they need for themselves, right? Especially in my world when it comes to medicine. And so energy to me is showing up grounded. And part of that is taking time, which I'm learning to be better and better at, to rest and to recover and be my full self when it comes to showing up for someone else. So energy to me is how I show up in presence.
As a doctor, do you just feel that depleted at the end of the day? Like you've done a 2-day shift,
Yeah.
and you just have poured all your energy into that surgery, and just there's the physical energy and your
Yeah.
mental energy.
Yeah. So much
Spiritual
better.
energy,
Yeah.
too.
No, absolutely. No, I love that question, and I know where you're getting at too, because that is something that over the last, I guess, 9 years now, I've had to continually tune in a way that I can sustain what I'm doing. Otherwise, I totally burn out. And part of it is one, yes, showing up and being present and being able to receive and understand who's in front of me. But part of that also is connecting with humans who do want to be active participants in their care when it comes to medicine in general. And what I mean by that is I had to pull away from certain demographics, if that makes sense, right? Certain patient populations, not because I didn't want to take care of them, but because I found it very difficult to be pouring all my energy into them and not getting that reciprocated back. That was more draining than anything. When I have someone who is empowered, right? Who wants to be empowered, who is receptive to that interaction and to that education, and who wants to be an active participant in their recovery, like you, like, which is why I tend to work with, athletes as well, then it actually is energizing. Then I'm not drained. And then I feel like I'm making a difference in supporting someone in their journey too at the same time. And so although, yeah, it can get physically draining, I don't get that emotional suck, that drain of wanting it more than someone else wants it. And I've had to work with, hypnotherapists, and I worked with an amazing craniosacral therapist as well as to create, a halo, that I do around me that says, yes, I'm here for you and will give you all of me in order to get to that end result wherever we can together. But I'm not absorbing that into myself, right? Like I'm here, I feel you. I understand what your intentions and your goals are. We're working on this together, but I won't be absorbing that energy. I'll give it back to you. And that's my power, is to be able to hold on to that.
But I think also like just watching him and being with him throughout his career, like he does have this amazing way to be so incredibly present with the people that he's with and in that world, to where I've had to actually, when he's coming home or whatever, I used to just like be like, "Oh my gosh, you're home." And even the kids too. And he has to like have this like transition almost of like being being able to be in that world and then being able to come be in our world. And I used to kind of get like upset or frustrated, like, why can't you just like dive into like family life now? And I have learned to understand that he kind of has to do this like shift and kind of like get himself into a different place to be like, okay, now I can like kind of let that go from that day, and now I can be, dad and husband and stuff, and not, and it can't just necessarily just clash like that. And it was kind of hard for me to kind of understand, but now that I kind of see it, I think it's because he just pours so much into those moments that he does have to actually like transition in a way.
Even Superman's got to go lay in the sun.
But
Did you see the newest one? It's all
not
about the
yet.
sun.
No?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
We
gets
should
beat
watch
up,
that. Yeah.
and then he goes and lays in front of the sun. He's like the white light, the white
I
sun.
love that. Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
But I
Except
didn't
for
even,
it's dark sometimes when he gets home.
I didn't even know that about myself though, right? Like I didn't, I mean, that's something we're discovering, and we had discovered together is that, and because we'll pull up and go home, and I'll just stay in the truck for a little bit. Right. And
I'm like, I see that you're home.
you're
Why
right.
aren't
Yeah,
you coming
exactly.
inside?
And it's a conversion, right? It's a transition from that receptive energy and showing up and being present and truly understanding the frequency that's sitting in front of me to, all right, now I got to show up in a different way, right? And not in a bad or a good or whatever, but different, right? To where the dad and the husband role is completely different than the practitioner role. So, yeah.
And for you,
The big bell.
same question as a doctor.
Well, I think for
What is energy?
I think for one, women just operate on a different level than men. I think we are people that just have we have to like, I think it actually goes back to like the ancestral.
Are you talking about multitasking?
Well, it's multitasking, but also like the kids in the back of the head at all
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Like men have a better way to be able to like kind of separate that. And women really, I mean, I don't know, I'll probably get a lot of people that'll disagree with this, but this is how I really feel. I really feel that it is ingrained in us that we are the like,
Maternal.
yeah, we are the ones that have to look after them and stuff. And so it really is kind of like having to like manage it all. And being able to be there. But that's actually a huge part of why I don't really practice that much right now. I really have decided that is my focus right now. And I love medicine. I think it's amazing. And I will do things like take your guys' case. I have a soft spot in my heart for fertility. So I've talked to some other people that wanted to talk to me about it. I am in no way a fertility expert. I didn't do, my background is physical medicine and rehab. Like the only reason why I know so much about like the fertility world is from my own journey. And I'm happy to like give people that disclaimer that ever want to talk to me about it. And same, that's what I told you. Right. But, I really I feel like it's really hard to do both. I feel like as a female, for me, my priority right now is my kids. And so that's why I haven't actually gone back into seeing patients right now. And I will again. And I love to be part of it, like part of kind of like putting together protocols, and I love the wellness division of Masi Clinic and doing all that. But actually seeing patients, I think that it's really hard to do both. And so I've chosen to be with them.
We were talking about it earlier. Us
Mhm.
men are a bunch of wussies surfing jawsing.
Yeah.
Carrying a baby in your body for 9
Yeah.
months and birthing this spirit
Yeah.
and waking up and
Yeah.
my job is I'm just
yeah.
there to support. You guys are
That's my advice for any young man coming up is just really understanding that we are the inferior sex and be okay with that.
I don't know. I've been doing all this research on perimenopause and menopause. It's like women are meant to like have the babies and then die.
more bone
kidding.
broth, more bone broth, more stem cells.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, that's true. I'm like, wait, this isn't making any sense.
Well, I mean, that's what she's just stealing all your nutrients.
Oh my gosh.
That's like the amount of water. Just
I mean,
the amount of
Moana was almost born on my birthday. I'm like, do you literally just want to replace me?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I don't even get a birthday anymore.
Yeah.
You're 2 weeks late.
And I'm the
Come on.
outsider being like, you're giving yourself up completely for this. It's amazing. But like, don't lose yourself in that.
Well, when they're little, it's hard. But she's, they start to, we both start to become our own person at some
Yeah.
point. But it's
Moana's,
fun. It's
Moana's nickname around town is a barnacle. She's April's barnacle. Like just always. I love
it's
that.
such a short period of time, and she's our last baby. It's really hard to let it go,
Yeah.
Especially when you go through have that fertility journey. I feel like it's hard to like not let that affect you, especially like with the breastfeeding, and I'm still breastfeeding, and he's like, how much longer? And I'm like, I don't know. She's our last one. It took so long to get her. Like, can't I just hold on to this? And he's like, I'd like my wife back.
Yeah. No, it's okay to hold on tight.
Yeah. It's fun though.
we signed up for this, remember?
Yeah. We said
Yeah, exactly. What about you guys? Is this too big of a question on the podcast? You
Yes.
guys want more?
We're-
Yes, yes, too big of a question.
We're just very present for this one, and we're so blessed.
Yeah.
We're just.
Yeah.
Trust me, my dad wants a grandson. He's got
Yeah.
4
Oh.
granddaughters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But we're just feeling so blessed on this.
Yeah. That's a good place to be. Stay there.
I'm not staying present right now on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, if you start trying to mess with the sex, that's like a whole other thing that's too hard to go to. You're just going to get girls if you do that. I still can't believe that we had a girl. I mean, he really wanted a girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, at this point, our fertility journey was like 8 years. I was like, can we just please have a healthy baby? And he still was like, a girl would be great.
I just felt like I was meant to be a girl dad.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
are.
I mean, I love my boys, don't get me wrong. And, the physical masculine energy is awesome, but there's a sensitive side to me for sure.
Yeah.
You're a healer.
Yeah.
They have a really special bond. It's
Yeah.
really cute. She's been all she wants is daddy lately.
Yeah. No, and someone's got to take care of me when I'm old too. The boys are not good.
That's real. Our true blessing in having the fertility journey is not having kids till we're older, so she'll stay around and
Oh
take
my
care of
God.
us.
Yeah.
No way, we have stem cells. We're gonna live forever, right?
Yeah.
babe?
There you go. Exactly.
What's your goal? The joke with me and Sam is like, we got to be at the gym. Is we want to be doing box jumps and pull ups when we're 100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kettlebell squats. We had some little protocol. She's like, hey, we're shooting for this. Like,
Yeah.
perfect.
I mean, they say that if you can even just do a 1 or 2 minute hang, that shows that you're gonna live super old. So that's like for me. I'm down to that. That's my workout these days. I just hang for 2 minutes. I'm good. Workout for the day.
Juana's a little 25-pound counterweight.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's true. I've got some really bad tendonitis in my arm from that. Like, babe, I can't sleep at night. Heal me.
Yeah. Oh, your dad's charging.
Yes.
He's still doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How old is he now? 70,
4?
74. Yeah.
Yeah. He still drove me into those biggest waves last year.
Yeah.
He's out there as well.
Wow. He rides the jet ski.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
He's my driver.
And you
Lead water safety.
Wow.
We do. He's not so much tone anymore. I'll go take him down to Sprex or some perfect out, other little secret spots, but he still wants it. And he's very restless this winter, wanting to come
Is
back.
that how you got into it from your dad?
Very much so.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, my dad and my uncle guys were like that first gen of the strap crew going out to Jaws. I mean, I grew up with surfing in my blood,
Wow.
obviously with my last name.
So how old were you when you first went out there?
The Jaws,
Yeah.
probably mid-20. I think I was in college when I finally went out there and actually watched it from the show and just watched it. I was, I mean, we can go into the origin story, but like my surfing career is pretty late blooming. Not, I was never, where to go for this? I grew up in the Andy Irons and Bruce and Eric Diaz and Kaimon. They were my generation. I grew up, and they were so ahead of everybody. I never wanted. I was always fifth, sixth place in the surf contest. I never came close. I gave up on it when I was like 15. I had a funky style. I think Hokipa kind of ruined my surfing.
Yeah.
I went to college, and then I went to San Diego State for 2 years. And then we'd gone to Fiji a couple times, and we knew Roseman and those guys. And I fell in, when I was going to school in San Diego, I hung out a lot with Roseman and the crew down at Wind and Sea. And I was getting kind of a little bit burnt, just school and all that. And he's like, why don't you come down and work for me this summer? And I was like, let's go. And that's where that summer, I think I was 19 or 20. That's really where I learned to surf down there in Fiji. Did a 3-month stint and just
really spent time there. That was before Dylan's days too, right? Or he was young.
He was young. So my second year he was 17 when he first showed up.
Yeah, that's right.
And when he did it first stint with him, when I worked with him on his very first stint. And yeah, that's kind of where I kind of really fell back in love with. Surfing was always like a passion. I never.
3 months in Tabarua, yeah.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
But just like learning to surf, learning to tube ride, learning
a student,
really a student of surfing good waves and tube riding. And meeting just amazing humans down there. The networking of that place back then, of the Bob Hurleys and of those like-minded souls and Wooly and all. How like these guys that are master businessmen that coming down there all the time and just life. And that's where I really transitioned to the lifestyle design of like, I want to surf for the rest of my life, but I want to sponsor my own way with my own businesses and work and however I can do it, but stay healthy, stay strong. Yeah. It took me a couple different iterations, but I'm at now.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to talk about that if you have time. Cause I told you earlier is that I feel like we met in, I don't know, you said multiple iterations. I call it Shaun Lopez 2.0, but just based on story that you've told, or I've heard, from other people kind of coming up, is that there was multiple maybe conversions, at some point, because I know the calculated version. I know the very intentional version, not only from mindset and preparation, but also from training, right? And preparation that way too, as well. And how you handle the mental side of recovery and everything else like that, which is amazing and the best of the best, right? But it wasn't always like that.
No.
Yeah.
So when I was in college, like when I lived on the North Shore and on Oahu, and that first year we went over there I had like a C-level sponsorship from Quicksilver after the years of Tavarua and just a couple boxes of gear, never a paycheck, and hanging out with Strider at the house, and they had the Quicksilver house, but that was the first year they had the Volcom house, and it was just wild. Like I basically was working and living in town and coming out and surfing pipeline. That was like my existence for like probably 5 years, every single pipeline swell, and pretty much slayed that drag and caught all the waves I wanted to surf, and then partying and all the fun stuff that you do in your 20s, and then got married, and that one went south, and got divorced by I was like 30, living on Maui and just working, and kind of like didn't really know that path, but it was always just living on Maui, working and surfing Jaws and through tow surfing, and then met my wife that is now, and that was really like the one of the catalysts of probably the 2.0 version that you met. That was just, I think I'd learned that like if you give, I kind of broke down my life and I've always been really intentional with lists, whether work or today, and like I've had to be really organized with 10-year, 5-year, monthly, weekly, daily goals and lists and work, because I'm so busy with my work and stuff. And I learned that I had to be really disciplined across all disciplines of my life and break it down to mind, body, soul, heart, like health and wealth. Those are kind of my pillars. And if you give, and surf was always part of the health side of things, and then sport. But if you give too much to one, something's going to slide. And whether you're surfing too much, now your relationships fail, or your work, or or you're working too much and now your health or your surfing or relation. One of them is going to,
Right.
it was kind of like the old saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. And so once I had to like buckle down and realize that, that's when I got like probably my healthiest. I had an injury even before you was, but that's where I met Sam. I had a hip injury and found the gym and found that community. I was so impressed. Ian Walsh, had a, he was training. It was when he won the XL Pro, and he was like surfing these heats, and he was so in shape and training super hard. And I was like, I want that. I remember, and we surfed a day. We chased a swell to Fiji, and I think I was like cramping out on one of the big days. I was just like, that piece was missing. We didn't know how to train. Even when I was in my 20s, it was go do some bench presses and run some laps at the laps at the park.
Yeah.
Right, nothing with Sam's.
It wasn't part of the culture then.
It wasn't part of the culture. It wasn't like Sam's. And then when I found Sam after that injury, and we started creating these 6-week camps and blocks and long-term goals and having vision for where do you want to be when September starts? Where do you want to be? And the mind always was, okay, I want to be game ready 12 months out of the year. As if we're chasing a cloud break swell or chasing a jaw swell. Those are 2 different seasons. So so then training became, and then that evolved. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the best. A D valve of energy in my brain. Just that step,
release.
a release valve
Yeah.
of energy that I already had. And then you're sleeping better, then you're working better, and then you're like feeling better on that next surf session. And so it's just, and then I set the intention with the relationship. And then when I found Rachel, it's just like everything it just set into stone. And the relationship became amazing. My work, the business started taking off. I started getting some of the best waves of my life. In my 40s, I got the biggest waves of my life were in my 40s, hands down.
That's incredible. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And that's what I was hoping to hear, right? Because I've heard bits and pieces of that, but I love how intentional it was. It wasn't an accident, right? The things that you put together, and maybe whether you manifested it through goal setting or whether you manifested it through preparation, and how you completely shifted and changed your life. And instead of looking at these things like seasonal, like, no, this is me now, and this is around the clock, and this is like, I love what you said. I'm going to be ready for anything 12 months out of the year, and this is just what I'm going to do, right?
Yeah, and I think you work better when you're healthier. Your mind's firing better, and all those things, and it came back to energy again, but it's just you're managing your bucket of energy in your heart, in your mind, in your body, being intentional of what the energies you're bringing in.
Yeah.
Like I had the funniest epiphany. I told Rachel the other day, and Reese woke us up at like 4:30. So I built a beautiful home gym during COVID, and we got the squat rack and all the good stuff. I was like, I'm gonna go do a workout. You're doing the nurse, and they usually go nurse for another 2 hours, and I'll see you at 6:30. So I made my coffee, had a beautiful workout, had a little bit of a meditation, just kind of set the path it was a Monday. So I was like really set my list for what I was going to do. I have like my little list in my journal. This phone call came in and I was just like glowing. We were sitting down for breakfast after the workout, and I told Ray, oh, this is going to be a good day. And like this work call came from a client, and the guy was just on such a bummer, and just every last word was F-bomb this, just complaining. He just like dumped all this stuff on, and I was just like, and I didn't realize it, but then like I was driving to work, and I just like, it turned such a 180 of my vibe as I was thinking about him and projects and stuff, just like, and then I had to just bring it back, and I was like, wow, that guy really affected me. It was insane. And then that was it. So,
but it was amazing that you were able to have that morning first, because it helped you probably recognize that you were like, oh, okay, well, that could affect me or not. But probably if you had just like crawled out of bed, got a cup of coffee, got on that phone, you'd be like you would not have been able to accept, been as receptive or whatever, or been able to protect yourself, I guess.
I had to get back to my list. I was like, no, this is what I was going to do today.
Yeah.
It just like, he like sent me on this.
Derailed you. Yeah. Oh, that happens for sure. And in your guys' partnership with you and Rachel, does she understand what you need to fill your cup?
Yeah.
With regards to preparations. Yeah. I assume, yeah.
She does. And she like, I kind of got it down now. It's like, we got to do, I try, but it's like one activity a day.
Yeah.
Before it used to be train and surf and work, and one good solid active, whether it's training or surfing and coming back. But she supports it. And she knows I'm a better human when I come back, when I've released a lot of some of that energy, whether it's work. And
It's such a hard thing, I think, for you guys because it's like when you take up so much time at work, and then I know that he struggles with this, and it's like, he's like, I don't want to go work all day and then go surfing. Like, I haven't seen you all day, I haven't seen the kids. Luckily, the kids surf with him, so that's helpful. But I'm like, no, you need this because you're going to be a better dad if you do, and you know you're going to be better at all of it. But it is really hard, especially now as like it gets dark so early and stuff. It just feels like, where is the time? But if you can take out that time, I know that it makes a big difference for him too.
Yeah, I've done a better job. I mean, obviously with the support of April, but just I think trying to remove urgency from anything, right? Like in recognizing that you can go through different seasons, like we are now with young kids and stuff, and it's not always going to be like that, right? I mean, I use completely off topic, but I feel like if you understand certain things in certain time periods are temporary, then you can absorb those storms a lot better. And living in Detroit for 5 years, nothing against Detroit, but like, like we knew it was temporary. So we were able to kind of settle in and be present with it and understand that and the same thing is right now with Moana in bed and the sleep thing that we're going on with, right? But April's really good at making sure that, I think she recognizes even before I do that release valve that you discuss and that you talk about. And it's awesome. And I feel so grateful to have a partner to be able to do that, because my default, if you will, is to not tune into that and just keep going, giving. And that's the only work that I'm doing for myself, is not to fall into that healing mentality or that healing identity of that's all I do, because I know I can't do that at that same level if I'm not taking care of myself.
He'll come home and he'll be like, "Oh, I got so much to do. The waves will be firing. I got so much to do. I got to get it done." And I'm like, "No, it can wait. It's like we get into this like argument about this, and then literally the boys will be surfing, and I'm like, "No, you have to go with the boys, especially River. If the waves are big, you have to go. River's going." He's like, "Okay," and then I'll go, and then he comes back and he's like, "Oh, so glad that I went."
I think every workout's like that. It's hard to start, but you're so grateful after.
I know.
You're right. I mean, Chris Burkhardt we had on too is awesome. He talks about the stove with the burners and stuff like that, and you kind of want them all medium, and sometimes with the propane and the gas coming to them, sometimes one will and it'll bring down the other ones, but as long as it doesn't stay there, as long as you bring it back and level it out at some point,
That's
sometimes
a great analogy.
Yeah, sometimes one burner. Sometimes
our house is on fire.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, you just got to manage those burners, and they're not always going to be there all the time at that same level. And sometimes you're going to have to turn a burner up, and go towards like whether it's work. And I know you do a lot in the professional world, and you're building a brand, which is amazing. And your podcast and all that other stuff, is going on. And sometimes you have to go in, and that burner has to be really high. It doesn't mean that the other ones have to be out; they'll be down. But then there's going to be a season where that comes back down, and now you can go all in on those other burners too. So.
Probably one of the biggest lessons I had to learn. This was part of the 2.0. Was just the control. And it's like the old AA serenity prayer.
Yeah.
God grant me the knowledge to know what I can control and not.
Yeah.
But that is like, I come out and I've shared it to other people, but like, I can't make even Reese do something at the end of the day. Like my wife, you can't make somebody feel something for you. And it's just, what do you have in control? It's you, your mind, your brain. That's it, really, at the end of the day.
That's a good reminder.
And you get really... That's where a lot of frustration, like whether it's a client, your partner, can communicate well, but at the end of the day, even if they don't do it, it's like that's outside of your control.
Yeah. I think that is loudest for me right now with my 14-year-old.
I was just going to say as you're talking, I was like, but you want to control.
Yeah. And that's, I every day, I think even April sends me like reminders on Instagram and other places of that. It's like,
I mean, you can control him physically, but you ain't controlling him what's going on in his brain.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can literally restrain him.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
He's a big strapping boy now.
Yeah, exactly. But just understand that he's got his path and his journey. And we feel like as parents, we have way more control than we actually do. We have influence. Yep. And,
actually, I think the influence part is the biggest part. Like sometimes we'll be talking about like, I do think that this phone era is really hard because we do work so much on our phones, but they will do exactly as they see. And that is an argument because we're like, get off your phone. And he's like, Dad's on his phone. I'm like, but Dad's working, and it's really hard for him to see that,
I told my dad about smoking weed about that one time. That didn't go so well. But you smoke. I was about 17.
Yeah. Do as I say. Yeah.
Sorry, Dad.
Love that.
That's really funny.
Yeah. What am I modeling, right? Like that's constantly the thing. And that's maybe a question that we should answer, ask ourselves a lot more. It's like, hey, what am I modeling? And that's, and I go through moments where I'm constantly thinking about that. And sometimes I need to, it's a weakness of my pulling away from the work aspect of things.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time?
Yeah.
We're around hour 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was quick.
I know.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. You got anything?
yeah,
I
I want to kind of.
go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah.
I'll back you up on that one.
Okay. All right. And we're back. Just a quick little bathroom break right there.
Thank you. Good
you
Santa Cruz coffee.
Yeah, exactly. And you were just talking, I want to finish that. You were just talking about, and then your podcast and the guests that you have on there. You have an awesome networking community, and I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
With your podcast right now.
Yeah,
As well.
it's just it's just more just leveraging the amazing network of people I just interact with in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I just the core question, I think it started with my blog on a marketing
Mm-hmm.
piece for my solar business,
Mm-hmm.
and it's evolved into something else. But it's just an exploration of energy that I think is I've once you understand conversions of energy, like what Nikola Tesla says, if you want to understand the universe, think of frequency and vibration. Just energy is moving from one medium to the next, and it's constantly in action from the biggest levels from the sun heating our universe or our little solar system and moving through light waves and heat waves to warming our planet and making food and chemical reactions to taking my daughter out to wake up and your circadian rhythms and just all these. It's just energy transferring from one medium, me drinking coffee, chemical reactions, me taking in food, putting fuel into my car, gas, charging my battery with the solar panels, or however it's all these little conversions. And once you start really paying attention to it, they're everywhere, and it's wild. So that's kind of what it is. And the long-term goal is to create like a body of work of just all these little documentations of conversions of energy. And so I think one of my good friends that actually lived on the first podcast guest I had was Garrett Lisi. He's a quantum physicist. And he just was like, surfers already have such an innate tune to energy. We're riding waves of energy and where they came from. It's just this sixth sense of energy. And so.
Well, I think that even you have the energy from being in the water. And I think that actually watching our kids be part of that at a young age, that you actually need that. And you get so used to that and you don't even realize that's what it is. But that's why I think that when they start, haven't been in the water for a while and I start noticing and it's not even like the fun of surfing. I think it honestly is like the energy of
on a chemical,
Mhm.
biochemical level.
Mhm.
I can tell that they just need to get in the water. Like
Whether
I'm
it's releasing a charge,
Yeah.
just touching it, grounding it, being wooed, like going barefoot,
Yeah.
or just,
Or receiving an energy.
I also think it's just changing your body temperature a half a degree
Mhm.
Yeah.
changes your chemical reaction.
Physiology.
I mean, that's probably why all of those cold plunges and saunas and stuff.
Well, it's really interesting because when Masi and I were done with his fellowship, we literally were like going to set up shop wherever we were going to be. And we had this Excel spreadsheet of all the places that we were going to possibly live. And it was like, we had, of course, all the places like that my mom lives, his parents, all these places, and I grew up in Tahoe. He grew up in Seattle area. And so those places were on there too. And he was like, he kind of like wiped everything through. He's like, needs to be next to the ocean. I was like, okay, that kind of limits us because we had Colorado on there and all these places. And I'm like, okay, so I guess we're either California or Hawaii. And it was, and I just had to trust that that's what he needed, especially because growing up, in the Seattle area, but he's like, he needed to be close to the ocean. And I didn't necessarily feel that as much. I think it actually is a little bit ancestral for him from being an islander, but he literally was like, I have to be close to the ocean. I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah. I mean, it is getting in the water and changing the physiology and feeling beyond the fun, of course, of surfing is the feeling the energy, being really in touch with the frequency and the wave of energies that are coming in. And even just standing on the cliff and feeling it is enough, for me. And I've gotten better as I've gotten older to really listen to that a lot more, but I knew somewhere deep inside. I mean, I was the only kid in Seattle who had surf magazines and that sort of stuff. It was like, I needed to be close. And it wasn't necessarily that I needed to be part of the sport of it, but just being close to that energy. And it's I love what you're doing. I love the conversion of energy. I love talking about it. We see it all the time in our world as well. And just listening to your podcast and the way that you talk about it and the words that you put to it has me thinking a lot about how how that plays out in my life on a daily basis.
I think so many of us are unconscious to it.
Yeah.
Just going day to day of
For
not
sure.
paying attention, kind of what we're talking about, just really bombarding you with some energy.
Yeah.
It's weird. It sounds very hippie, like you could just be sitting on the corner in Paia talking woo energy, but
Yeah.
it's
No, it's so true. Yeah.
Or ignoring it or not even realizing it, and that's what I think that was amazing that he realized that, because I feel like that has just made a difference to like leading us into the right and paying attention to it. So I think that like what you're saying is like a lot of people might not kind of realize or whatever, but to really like actually say, okay, wait, there's something here and I need to pay attention to that. And I do feel so much better when I'm closer to the ocean, or if I get in the ocean every day, or if I can look at it or smell it.
Well, we celebrate in culture, we celebrate resilience and capacity to deal. When I say it all the time, like capacity to deal is not always a good thing. We could do it, but you don't even realize you're suffering in it, right? Because you're not connected. And so a lot of times resiliency and capacity blinds you to the fact that you are missing out on what you actually truly need. And that's different for everyone.
I was like just thinking back to all those like suffer train guys where just
Yeah.
pain is in the
Yeah.
growth is in
It's
they did
so
not.
true. Yeah.
Well, so much is changing too. Like when I was back, I mean, training for ski racing, like things have changed so much. Back in the day, it was literally like suffering is actually how you're going to get there, and we're becoming more and more in tune with the fact that actually rest is just as important as the sprint. And that's in all life. That's in exercise. That's in work. That's in all of it. Like you're going to get so much farther if you can in your life, if you can understand that you need rest and the best times to rest and the best times to, take a walk or watch a sunrise and how important that is. And, luckily we are, as I feel like a society, getting better at that. And it's not so much of the suffering, but there's still that part of that, comes in.
We call that ego sometimes too.
It's definitely ego.
Yeah.
Or like, that's the way I did it.
Yeah. So true.
There's a lot of that, right?
Oh man. I'm not even gonna go that.
I know, right? Especially for our age, I feel like we kind of we're kind of at the age of like we had that where we did find success in the suffering and had to do that, and then we also are like in the knowledge and learning about all this rest and stuff. So it's kind of a funny thing to like see how kids are these days. Like, oh well, you guys all do too much, but then we're from the era of like, well, we've gotten to where we are from so much suffering, so maybe we should. I don't know. I find myself slipping back into it. Like, okay, I know I need to rest, but then it's like, well, even him, he's like, I'm like, come on, you need to rest more, and he's like, no, I'm just really out of shape. I just need to push through it. Like, no, you need to get some sleep.
Well, we're kind of getting to the pointy end of this, and I want to ask. This is a question for both you guys.
Yeah.
And so, the core question that we always ask all my guests is, what's a unique or core conversion of energy in your life that you find fascinating or important or just interesting, and how can we apply that like into a very positive way?
You want to go first? You want me to take that one?
I don't really know if my answer is appropriate.
I think it's always appropriate.
It's always appropriate.
It's always appropriate.
We're in a safe place. It's
Now
only
you got-
it's only going to go on the internet
You got no
after.
choice. Now you have to say it.
Okay, well, an energy conversion that I feel like is very interesting and amazing and beautiful is actually sex. How we apply it to like an everyday. I don't really know how to answer that part of the question, but I think that with somebody that you love, and I don't want like all kids to listen to this and think it's just sex, but it's not sex. It's just like that the whole energy of that. I think it really is an energy exchange. It really is like a very just amazing experience that I think that if in the right ways is something that is I don't know. I just feel like it is a beautiful thing and it is a big energy exchange. And that's why it really should be with obviously the right person. But obviously I'm talking about in a marriage and in our marriage and stuff, but yeah, I feel like that kind of connection is something that is very necessary for.
I was immediately taken to like
Yeah.
some Alex Gray psychedelic word. No, but it's like a woo, like positive, negative, yin yang,
Yeah.
two souls, positive, negative, energy flowing in a circle.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where like, if you're giving it away, it's
Mhm.
just going to the wrong. It's just,
Yeah.
but if it's going in a circle, and that doesn't even just the physical connection, like you can love your wife across the womb and you're just sending that energy to
Yeah.
her and through the eyes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's you did a much better job of putting that into words.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
I love it.
Have you seen the Instagram, like I've seen the videos on Instagram, especially once you have a child and you go down like your algorithm changes and
Yeah.
the video of the sperm going into
Yeah.
the egg and there's like a spark of it
Yeah.
just
Well, and also those videos of like the energy of like it's not random. How crazy is that? Like, because there's like a million sperm, and that's what they always say. I always saw this joke of this one girl. She's really good speaker, and she says this joke of like how like you guys came from like this 1 million sperm, and you're the ones here. You know, like how lucky or whatever. But
and
like
that one egg that you were born with of however many thousand.
Right.
but apparently there's an energy to it. It's not random.
A polarity has just been
Yeah.
attracting.
Yeah.
No, it
Well, it
is.
comes back to like if I didn't eat shit on that way,
Yeah. Yeah.
you just never know, right?
Right.
The dots that connected where you're like, I'm pissing on myself the day after, you're all injured and just
Yeah.
you don't
Nothing
know
is
the
random.
The gift that we talk about. Yeah. I love that.
That's a good one. Thank you.
It is true.
On
Sorry.
the topic of fertility, I think just because, I mean, it's, an amazing conversation that we had in and around that, but it also is an amazing example of conversion for us and me specifically is that our wanting and our yearning can, at an energetic level, resist, right? And you hear it all the time, right? People say in the fertility world, oh, as soon as we gave up, right? As soon as we were done trying, then we got pregnant. As soon as we did this, we got pregnant. You've heard that before, right? And everyone hears that. Well, what is that at an energetic level, right? Meaning you were trying so hard and you wanted it so hard and you did everything possible to make it happen that you were actually resisting that energy coming in, right? And so the conversion to me that I think about based on this conversation in our lives and the work that we did, in addition to obviously the cellular aspect and the diet and everything else like that, is the letting go, right? And that in and of itself is an energy conversion, is just releasing and letting it go and realizing that, like kind of what we said earlier, is that you can control what you control. But if you try to control things that are uncontrollable, you resist. And so to me, the conversion in our life, and the one that's probably most powerful, is letting go. I see it a lot of times in my practice too, which is a daily thing for me, which goes back to what keeps me energetically moving and able to participate, is the transition when I meet a patient and talk to someone from the, I don't want to say victimhood mentality, but the mentality that I'm here and you need to fix me, to, oh, I actually have control of my outcome. And I, like you, can actually influence that outcome through my thoughts, through my actions, through the team that I build behind me. And that's something that I see daily, is that conversion of being an innocent bystander and a passive participant to actively engaging in the process is a huge shift and a conversion that I see every single day. And I love that question because I've never been able to put it to words, seeing that shift in the human, because there is a shift and I see it and I feel it and their outcome. And people ask me, well, what's the Masi magic? And I'm like, it's not me. It's that conversion of someone recognizing that they actually have power to dictate their outcome. They have agency.
There it is.
I know. I'm like,
wow. That is a beautiful way to end it on that one. That's just, you hit it on the head. And full disclosure, I'm just an electrician selling solar panels and batteries in a
you're a
surf.
legend.
I am not a fertility.
Yeah.
After the journey of COVID and my knee and dealing with the institutions and our fertility, and how powerful the change was with what we experienced with you. I wanted to just scream it for the top of my lungs. I was so frustrated with the institution.
Yeah.
It was just.
Yeah, same. And I love that we connected on that as question askers, as people who are driven by data, but at the same time recognizes there's things that we can't put data to, right? And trying to combine it all and being okay asking the question. And that's all I ask. And I think that's all we ever ask is we just want a seat at the table to be able to ask the questions that no one else is asking. Right?
Make decisions with good data.
Exactly. Well,
I am so glad that this all worked out the way it did because we both have two beautiful girls now that hopefully we'll get to play.
Well, let's get them surfing next time they're on Maui together, please.
I know, that was my next question too. I was like, when do the babies get to surf? Moana is so, oh my gosh, I got to show you. She is so cute. The boys go get their bikes and they put their boards on their bikes and she has this little pink boogie board surfboard thing and they go to go surfing and she starts running down the street. I'm going surfing, Mom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Just need to get thicker wetsuits for 1-year-olds. Somebody please make a 5'4".
Well, you're going to Tahoe in the summertime, so
Yeah,
it's going to be nice and hot.
That's true,
You'd be like,
that's
where's
true.
the AC?
That's true.
Oh, well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
From the bottom of our hearts, right? For coming out here, for driving down to see us, to sit with us, to bring with intention, an energy, right? And an intelligence and experience. And for most of all, bringing us together on this podcast. It's like a date. This is amazing because of you. And I'm so grateful for you. And
Right
your
back at
journey.
you, man. Thank you for everything. You've been a
Yeah.
huge part of our family, and it's going to be forever. And helping my dad, and helping Rachel and me, and Reese, and
We love you, brother.
we love you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Till next time.
We're going to do this again on Maui, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Sounds good.
You too.
We're there.
All right, let's go. Please remember that this podcast is for informational purposes only. The ideas and opinions shared here represent our own and are not meant to be taken as medical advice. Listening does not create a doctor-patient relationship, and we always recommend speaking with a qualified healthcare provider for any health-related decisions. This show is independent of our professional roles and reflects our own personal perspectives.